What if the heaviest chains you carry were forged by someone else, but you are the one who picks them up every morning? What if the you that you perform every day, the reliable employee, the easygoing friend, the strong parent, is just a mask, and you have long forgotten the face beneath? This is not a question of psychology, but of spiritual freedom. By the end of our time together, you will have the tools not to find some lost, authentic self, but to build one using the ancient steel of Stoic wisdom. We will dismantle the invisible architecture of your own prison, and I will show you how to close the loop on the foundational lie of the mask. This exploration is a philosophical one. It is an exercise in reason and self-examination, drawing from the hard-won insights of the ancient Stoics. It is not, and cannot be, a substitute for medical advice, therapy, or legal counsel. The principles we discuss are universal, but your application of them is your own. The goal is not a quick fix, but a profound and permanent shift in the very center of your gravity. A relocation of your soul from the chaotic winds of the external world to the unshakable citadel of your own mind. Have you ever wondered why you cannot think your way out of a pattern? You understand, perhaps perfectly, why you procrastinate, why you choose the wrong partners, why you flinch in the face of conflict, or why a part of you always feels simultaneously too much and never enough. You have the analysis, you have the diagnosis, yet tomorrow you will do it again. The pattern will hold. This is because the pattern is not merely a thought. It is an assent. It is a judgment, repeated so many times that it has become an invisible automatic reflex. It is a philosophy you live by, but one you never consciously chose. The source of this is almost always the past, but not the past as you remember it, not the events. The ancient Stoics, men who navigated plagues, empires, and exile, were masters of this distinction. An event, they taught, is inert. It is sterile. It is just a thing that happened. A father's anger, a mother's anxiety, a teacher's indifference, a lover's betrayal. These things are external. They are outside your control. They are like the weather. What is in your control and what forms the entire basis of your life is the judgment you attached to that event. From our first moments, we are interpreters. We are meaning-making machines. A child, vulnerable and entirely dependent, must adapt to the emotional climate of their world to survive. This is not a choice. It is a necessity. If love is conditional, we learn the conditions. If safety is earned by being quiet, we learn silence. If approval is given for performance, we become performers. We do not wait for logic. The nervous system, as the moderns would say, wires itself around these experiences. It creates strategies. But here is the philosophical error that costs our lives. We mistake the strategy for the self. We forget that the silence was a tactic and come to believe I am a quiet person. We forget that the performance was a shield and come to believe I am only as good as my last achievement. This creates what the Jungians would later call a persona, a mask for the world. The Stoics had a simpler, more brutal name for it. They called it slavery. It is slavery to the good opinion of others, slavery to reputation, slavery to fear. It is the act of placing your good, your tranquility, your very identity in the hands of people and forces that are not in your control. This is the creation of the inherent contract. It is a lie, yes, but it is a lie we signed in the language of feeling before we ever had the words to object. The core term of this contract, the ugliest lie of all, is this: you, as you are not sufficient. You must become something else to be safe, to be worthy, to be loved. This judgment is not just a memory, it's an architecture. It dictates what you see, what you value, what you fear. You flinch before you speak your truth. You over-apologize, over-give, over-adapt. You chase perfection, terrified of being a burden. All of it, traces back to that one. Foundational, false, assent. This is why personal growth feels so much like loss. You are not changing a habit. You are dismantling your identity from a survival strategy. You are challenging the contract, the parts of you that you disowned to be acceptable, the anger, the need, the vulnerability, the clear voice. These were not bad. They were simply inconvenient for your survival. Then, the source material we're examining suggests we must integrate these parts, what they call the shadow. The Stoic correction is more precise. These shadow parts, these powerful emotional flares, are not sacred aspects of a real you. They are the symptoms of the false judgment. Anger, as the Stoics defined it, is the judgment, I have been harmed, and revenge is required. Fear is the judgment, a future evil is coming and I cannot cope. Despair is the judgment, a present evil is here and it is overwhelming. The modern advice is often to feel these feelings, to express them, and be real. This is a profound mistake. It is like seeing smoke billowing from your house and deciding the solution is to honor the smoke by letting it fill every room. The Stoic does not express the smoke. He investigates the fire. The fire is the judgment. The goal is not to be real by indulging in passions. The goal is to be good by living according to reason. The invitation is not to integrate your anger, but to uproot the false belief that you have been harmed. Nothing external can harm your inner self, your proheresis, your faculty of choice, unless you assent to the idea that it can. This is the beginning of freedom. Let me tell you about a man, a composite of many I have known, whom we will call Marcus. Not Aurelius, but a Marcus of our time. He was a senior executive, lauded by all. He was the easygoing boss, the strong one who never complained, the rock. His persona was flawless. He learned as a child that his father's volatile temper was quieted only when he himself was perfect, invisible, and achieved. So, he achieved. His entire life was a performance of competence. The world rewarded this performance, but he confused the performance with himself. Underneath, he was brittle, exhausted, and hollow. A corporate merger brought in a new leadership team, one that was aggressive, chaotic, and unimpressed by his polite performance. They saw his easygoing nature as weakness. They challenged his decisions, dismissed his team, and treated him with contempt. The rules of his contract, if I am perfect and pleasing, I will be safe, were violated. And Marcus cracked. He did not crack with anger. He crumbled into a deep, silent despair. He had a severe breakdown, not because of the work, but because his identity was revealed to be an external, a thing that could be taken from him. He had built his home on the ice. What went wrong? Marcus had outsourced his worth. He placed his good in the reputation of being a rock, rather than the character of being a rock. A true Stoic rock is not strong in the sense of repressing sadness. A Stoic rock is indifferent to the waves of opinion. It does not need the waves to be calm. It simply is. Marcus's healing was not about getting in touch with his sadness. His healing began the day he picked up Epictetus and read a single line. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of them. He realized his breakdown was not caused by the new leadership. It was caused by his panicked, lifelong judgment that if I am not seen as perfect, I am nothing. That was the lie. That was the fire. The path out is not easy, but it is simple. It is the absolute surgical division of the world into two categories: that which is in your control and that which is not. This is the dichotomy of control, the central axiom of Stoic practice. What is not in your control? Everything external. The past, the future, the economy, the weather, what other people think of you, what they say, what they do. Your health, your reputation, your possessions, your very body, all are ultimately external. They are preferred or dispreferred, but they are not good or evil. They are indifferent. What then is in your control? Only one thing: your prohairesis, your will, your faculty of choice. More specifically, your judgments, your assents, and the actions you take based on them. That is your entire kingdom. It is small, but it is absolute. You are an emperor within this fortress. The source video spoke of the child in survival mode. This is the core of the work: to transition from the child's panicked focus on controlling externals, managing others' feelings, perfecting the mask, to the philosopher's disciplined focus on controlling internals, mastering one's own judgments. This work is called ascesis, or spiritual training. It is not passive. It is a daily forge. The first discipline is the discipline of assent. This is where you stand guard at the gates of your mind. An impression comes to you. My boss looked at me strangely in that meeting. I must have said something foolish. I am a fraud. The untrained mind assents immediately. The emotion, anxiety, shame, floods in. The lie, I am not enough, is reinforced. The pattern holds. The Stoic in training pauses. He creates a space between the stimulus and the response. He looks at the impression as if it were a person at the gate demanding entry. And he asks it, are you a fact, or are you my judgment about a fact? The fact is, my boss had a particular facial expression. That is all. It is external. It is indifferent. The judgment is, that expression means I am a fraud. This judgment is internal. It is a choice. And you can refuse it. You can say, the expression is his. It is not in my control. It may be due to his lack preoccupation, his lunch, or nothing at all. My work, my character, my intention, these are in my control. I will focus on those. I withhold my assent from this fantasy of ruin. This is not repression. This is clarification. You are not hiding from the feeling. You are dismantling the engine that creates it. This brings us to our second story, the awakening. Let us call her Ilara. Ilara was a parent, a mother who loved her children fiercely, but found herself repeating the very patterns she despised from her own childhood. Her mother was anxious and controlling, and Ilara had learned the contract. Love is tension. Safety means being hypervigilant. Now, with her own children, she found herself constantly correcting, managing, and intervening. She would hear her own mother's voice coming from her mouth. The pattern was in the driver's seat. The awakening happened one afternoon. Her young son spilled a glass of juice. It was a simple accident. But for Elara, it triggered the old judgment. Things are out of control. Danger, disorder, I have failed. She reacted instantly, grabbing his arm too tightly, her voice sharp with panic and anger, and her son flinched. That flinch, that small, terrified gesture, was the mirror she needed. She saw her mother in herself. She saw the lie being passed like a generational curse from her body to his. She saw that she was not a person in that moment, but a machine, an echo, a ghost. In that gap, horrified by her own reflex, her prohairesis woke up. She let go of his arm, knelt, and simply said, "It is okay. It is just juice. Let's clean it up together." It was the hardest thing she had ever done. What Elara learned was the power of the pause. Her judgment, spills or catastrophes, was an external she inherited. Her reaction, shouting, grabbing, was the habit. Her awakening was the realization that her ascent was hers. She began to practice. When the feeling of panic rose, she would name it. This is the old judgment. This is not me. This is the echo. She trained herself to see the spill as a spill, not as a referendum on her worth as a mother. She slowly, painfully taught herself that her child's safety and his spirit, internal, were more important than the floor's cleanliness, external. She was retraining her body and her mind, breaking a chain that was decades long. This retraining is the second discipline, the discipline of desire and aversion. It means desiring only what is in your control, your own virtue, and being averse only to what is in your control, your own vice. This rewires your nervous system. The source video rightly says, the body remembers the lie, it holds the tension. The Stoic solution is not just to release it, but to retrain it. This is why the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. You must prove to your body, in small, manageable ways, that you are no longer the fragile child in survival mode. You are the adult at the helm. So, you take the cold shower. You fast for a day. You sleep on the floor. You speak in public. You purposefully do the hard thing you have been avoiding. You're not doing this to punish yourself. You're doing it to inoculate yourself. You're teaching your body on a cellular level. See, we can withstand this. We are not fragile. We do not need the old comfortable lies. We can handle the truth. This creates a new baseline. The fear of being a burden lessens when you have willingly embraced discomfort. The need for others' approval shrinks when you have proven your own sufficiency. You are, in effect, updating your nervous system from its old conditional software to the new unconditional operating system of reason. The third discipline brings it all together, the discipline of action. This is where you take your new judgments and forge them into character. Your actions must be aimed at the common good. This is the antidote to the persona. The persona is self-protective. It asks, what can I get? How can I be safe? The Stoic asks, what is my duty? What does the situation require? How can I be useful? This shifts your focus from reception to contribution. You stop scanning the room for approval and start scanning it for opportunity. Opportunity to be patient, to be clear, to be courageous, to be just. This is how you build the real self. The real you is not the shadowy you full of unprocessed rage. The real you is the rational you, the virtuous you, the you that chooses to act with decency and courage even when it's hard. This brings us to our final story, the transformation. Let's call him Leo. Leo's childhood lie was, "Your voice is a burden. Be quiet to avoid conflict." This is a direct echo of the source material. He became the quiet man. In meetings, he would have good ideas, but would say nothing, fearing he would bother people or be proven wrong. He felt invisible, resentful, and stuck. He found Stoicism. He began with the dichotomy of control. He realized, whether my idea is liked is not in my control. Whether it is accepted is not in my control. Whether I speak clearly and with good intention, that is in my control. He practiced the discipline of assent. When the fear rose, "They'll think you're stupid," he paused and refused to assent. "That is a ghost," he told himself, "a prediction, not a fact. My job is to be useful." He trained with voluntary discomfort. He practiced asking questions in low-stakes environments. He called customer service to dispute a bill calmly and rationally. He practiced speaking his mind with his partner about small things. He was building the habit of his new judgment. The transformation was not loud. It was not a Hollywood moment where he suddenly gave a thundering speech. It was a team meeting. A difficult problem was being discussed. The old Leo would have sunk into his chair, protecting himself. The new Leo felt the fear, the old lie, "Be quiet," rising in his chest. He observed it, he named it, and he chose otherwise. He waited for a calm moment, and he spoke. He said, "I may be wrong about this, but I see a risk we are not discussing." He laid out his point clearly, without apology and without aggression. Some agreed. One person disagreed. The meeting moved on, but Leo was transformed. Not because he won the argument. That was never the goal. He was transformed because he had acted in accordance with his reason, not his fear. He had chosen character over comfort. He had heard his own voice, free from the old contract, and found that it was steady. He didn't need to be loud. He just needed to be rational. He had unlearned the lie, not through logic, but through lived, chosen experience. This is how the ugliest lie loses its power. You name it. You see it for what it is, a judgment. A terrible, costly, but ultimately incorrect judgment that you mistook for a truth. You see that it was never about you being flawed. It was about you making an error in your reasoning, an error you learned in a difficult climate, an error you can now, with courage and discipline, correct. The source material states, that's not your fault, but healing is your responsibility. This is the hardest and most liberating truth. Your programming is not your fault, but you are the programmer now. The Stoics would say, your past isn't external, it is indifferent. It is ink, it is set. But the meaning you derive from it, the judgments you build upon it today, that is your responsibility. You cannot erase the past, but you can rejudge it. You can see it not as a wound that defines you, but as the gymnasium that trained you. The obstacle was the way. The lie was a test of your nascent reason. Now, let's address the mask. Remember the lie of the mask we began with? The source calls the persona incomplete. The Stoics would agree. The mask is not the enemy. It is a tool. You have roles to play. You are an employee, a parent, a child, a citizen. Marcus Aurelius was an emperor. He had a mask. He had a job. The danger is not in the mask. The danger is in forgetting you're wearing it. The danger is fusing with the role. Your proheresis, your center of choice, is the actor. The role is just the part. The actor's job is to play the part well, with virtue, with justice, with temperance, with courage, but he never forgets that he is the actor. You break the lie of the mask the moment you realize who is wearing it. You are not the easygoing friend. You are the rational being who is choosing to be pleasant in this moment because it is appropriate. You are not the strong parent. You are the rational being who is choosing to be resilient in this moment for the sake of your child. The choice, the assent, is everything. This introduces a clear understanding of boundaries. The world is full of people operating from their own unexamined scripts, their own personas, their own fears. Some, as Machiavelli might observe, will try to use your mask, your desire for approval against you. They will reward your persona to control you. The Stoic response is not counter-manipulation. That is just another mask, another slavery to externals. The Stoic response is the inner fortress. You remind yourself, they can praise my mask or they can insult it, they can promote me or they can fire me, they can even harm my body, but they cannot touch my will. They cannot force me to assent to a false judgment. They cannot make me abandon my character. This is true power. This is the unbreachable boundary. So, where do you go from here? The invitation is simple. Do not keep this lie inside. Do not let it operate in the dark. Your work is to bring it into the light of your own reason. The next time you feel that old familiar tension, the fear, the shame, the anger, the feeling of not enough, do not become it. Observe it. Stop and ask the question, what judgment just created this feeling? What impression did I just assent to? See it. Name it. I just assented to the belief that my worth is dependent on this person's approval. And then quietly, firmly, challenge it. Is that true? Is my good really in their hands? Or is it in my own choice to be virtuous, to be rational, right here, right now, regardless of the outcome? You do not need to earn your worth. You never did. Your worth is inherent in your capacity to reason and to choose. That is the logos, the spark of the divine, within you. The ugliest lie was just a fog. Reason is the sun. We have used reason to reclaim the present from the automatic habits of the past. But there is one domain left, the future. The future is the territory of anxiety, the playground of what if. The Stoics had a powerful and deeply counterintuitive tool for this. It is not optimism, it is not pessimism. It is the architecture of resilience. They called it premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils or negative visualization. It is the art of imagining, calmly and rationally, what could go wrong so that you are never surprised and you are always prepared, not with a plan for externals, but with a commitment to your internal character. Perhaps that is the next chapter in our training, to build the fortress not just against the ghosts of the past, but against the phantoms of the future.